everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. So I'm here today to show you how to make an ephemera pouch where you can load a lot of ephemera into a fun pouch that you can probably use actually if you end up not wanting it to, as an ephemera pouch for ephemera later on. So my reason for wanting to show this to you is I've had a lot of people request that I, sell my ephemera in my shop, and I don't typically do that a whole lot. So I wanted to find a fun way to kind of do that and to be able to, put it together nicely in a nice package. I love making nice packaging. So I will unload this and then I will go through the whole process of making this fun ephemera pouch. So let's count as we go. We have this front pocket here, and up front I like to put some kind of a special piece like this button card, something that will reach out to my, to my viewer, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces in that front pocket. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18, maybe 19 really. So what do I put in here? I put envelopes, journal cards, journal tags, things primarily like pouches, little envelopes, things that I feel like you could use not as something to put something in, right? No pockets, but things you could use as greetings, like this postcard. You could mail them, you could use them as ephemera in your own journals, more that kind of thing. I'm not providing pockets and tuck spots and stuff like that because I feel like, it wouldn't make as much sense really. So let's talk about this pouch. This pouch is made from a folder. I've purposely left this up here because I just love how that looks, and I think if it was a gift you could write something on it. Then the top has this pass-through, sort of like a sideways belly band. Then we have a tall pocket, and then we have a smaller pocket. So the corners here are rounded. On this one they're not, but at the top they're rounded. And then I've collaged with scraps both sides to make the whole thing fun and cohesive to the ephemera. So let's begin. So the folder I'm using is one of these long kind of office type folders. And we're only going to need half of it. So you can actually make 2 of these of a slightly different size from one folder. So I'm going to cut it right on sort of the edge of where that rounding happens at the end of this name section. So then what we have left over will be this, okay? So you still have another one of those. So then what we're going to do is just kind of straighten that out, and I'm going to grab my cutter here. Now the first measurement is from this center here at 2 inches. Cut. So then you have this little flap here. Set that aside. Now the next is at 3.5 inches, and that's this. Set that aside. Then this one, what I'm going to do is just, actually I'm not going to cut it. I'm going to move on to the next part here. Actually no, I am going to cut it. I'm sorry. Yes I am. I'm going to cut off this part, right? That rounded section. So that ends up being 2.5. Okay. So now we can get rid of this. So this is the big pocket and this is the belly band, and that's that smaller pocket. So I'm going to start by doing a bit of corner rounding. So I'm going to corner round this using my 1/2 inch corner. So that accomplishes that nice round there. And then we set this aside. This one, we're going to corner round just the top of it. 1 and 2, and this is that big pocket in the middle, right? And then the belly band, we don't need to corner round. So now we're going to get into the collaging and the using of the scraps. So let me move all the prototype out of the way. And get my glue book out here. Okay, so just gonna pull some scraps like this. Now, I recommend using lighter weight scraps if you have them, just because they glue down easily and it's not going to add a lot of bulk to your overall project. So if you have things like, you know, normal paper scraps, that's what you're looking for. So I'm just going to get started by collaging these first with my scraps. And I'm just using glue stick for this part of the collaging. I also recommend using in this process a bit of book page because, you know, depending on if you're gifting this or, you know, you're just going to be using it to stuff your ephemera in. Maybe you're going to pop a little hole in it and hang it close to your desk or something to reload with ephemera for journals. It's a nice little collector pouch for those kind of things. You can pop a hole in the top and put an eyelet. Now this is from my glue book, but I really like this Dombian Sun part, so I'm gonna actually take this. This is out of an old Charles Dickens book, so I'm gonna just save that and maybe cut it over here, or tear it rather. We can add that here, I think. And then any stray edges, you can either cut them off or you can wrap them around if you want. For these, I'm going to cut them off because I just don't want the bulk in the pocket. When I get to collaging the actual larger piece though, I am going to wrap them around because they add like a extra level of like nice collaging. So this is my glue book, but I'm just going to check and see if that's a good picture or not. Not really, so we can just use that as backing for something else. Okay, let's get back to this. Now, in theory, that should cover most of it, but not all of it. That's okay. So I'm going to just glue this up. I know I don't need all of it, so I'm not going to glue that one edge. Flip it to where I want it to go, about there. So this is, you know, a process very similar to like making a collage board, but you are putting it on a functional piece. So this we can save for scraps, and then I think I have a good scrap for that there, yeah. So I'm going to be doing a little stitching in this project, but you don't have to. If you don't want to do any stitching, my recommendation is if you're using any paper that's heavier than like a thin, you know, like a copy paper, you might want to use more of a stronger glue to do like edge work, you know, like a art glitter glue around, you know, these edges to just make sure nothing can pop up. Like when I do quick glue stick kind of like this when I'm making collage boards, usually I end up reinforcing the edges in some way. I find my glue sticks are particularly good. I don't have a lot of issues with them, but I know, you know, sometimes certain materials or sometimes you don't have access to glues that are like professional glue stick. I totally get it. So yeah, that's a better option if you're not going to be gluing. So this one's done. Next step for it though, I'm going to do some inking with Vintage Photo at this stage, just around the front edge here. And then if you feel like there's anywhere else that you'd like ink, like I've got a little torn edge here, I'm just going to kind of ink over it as well, just to keep it cohesive. Okay, so we can set that one aside now and grab the belly band part of this, and we'll start our collage on it. So I think, what do I want to do here? Maybe this, but I don't want it to be the whole thing, so I'll just grab a little bit here. Will it go as wide as that? No. So let's go this way, just for ease. And the reason for this belly band up at the top is so that you can put nice tall pieces into that pocket, and it will hold on to them and keep them nice and flat. They won't be like jutting forward in the overall piece. This is some cabbage dyed scrap, and while a little plain, it's quite nice. I'll go with that more. Actually, both sides are sort of similarly colored. That's nice. Okay. Just kind of line up the edges here. Then we need a little something more here. Maybe we'll use this piece left over here. Just pulling a little more scrap here. What do we have? That might be good. Okay. And when I'm collaging like this, I like to work in like geometric shapes. I feel the same way about making collage boards. It just, I don't know, it's just aesthetically more pleasing to me to do that. Okay. Fold that over because some part of me feels bad throwing it away. Okay, now we'll do the same inking as we did on the other piece. Now both of these I'm going to stitch around the edges at the end, but I'm just letting you know that. So here's those, they are good to go. Now let's begin with the large piece. So the first thing that I want to do is find a good scrap to go on. Hold on, let me get into these scraps here. I have to organize. Okay, it's kind of plain, that's too thick. Plain, too thick. These are like book pages with jelly printing. Okay, I was wondering why they were all in my scraps. That'll work. Little book pages. Well, that's a good one. So I'll just start with this. I'm just going to line it up about here, right under the line where we have that name. Now, if your folders don't have this, you don't need to really concern yourself with that. That's nice. A bit of map there would be nice too. This, I'm just going to probably tear off a little bit of it. Now keep in mind that this layer, you're going to be putting pockets on top of it. So if you want to kind of pre-align where those pockets are going to be, I will show you how to do that. So line that up there. So, okay. And then I'm going to cut this edge off. Anything small like this, don't try to wrap it around because the glue will eventually like let go. It's not enough to hold on to, okay? So we'll get rid of that. So here's what I'm saying about pockets, okay? So this, it's going to go just about a 1/4 inch above, maybe a little more, this bottom flap. So anything you put under here, it's going to get lost. So I don't need to do anything more than I've done up here. Then this belly band, we're going to align that with that name, that line under the name. So, you know, I don't need to do anything more at all really on this back side. It's pretty much done for the top there. But where I do need to do something is down between this pocket and this bottom flap, okay? So we need to put something across there, and I think I will choose this bit of map because it's perfect size for that. Okay, so we'll just go here because we know it's going to sit above that. Just go slightly like under this little pocket here so that it covers that spot. You see that? Okay. So then, like I said, you can wrap the back if you want. You can wrap these bits on the back. Now we're going to do this entire back side, all of it. Okay. Some nice jelly printing. Just going to pull these apart. These were old glue pages that I actually used for just picking up paint on my jelly print. I used to keep pretty much all my glue pages. I would like glue them, put them together, you know, but I don't do that so much now because it's just too much to keep. Okay, so we're gonna go right ahead over this. Then maybe do a nice strip of the coffee dyed paper across. I know I don't need all of it, so I'll keep that off. I'm going to overlap it a little bit. I'm not worried about the edges right now. I'm just going to get the paper down. Oopsie. Slipping and sliding here. Okay. That's a nice little bit. Let's do that. Will that cover that? Not quite. Let's go here with it. I need something for that corner. That's fun. It's like old advertising, German advertising. Go do this, but then I'll make it a little smaller. Ooh, very thin paper. That's okay. We can still use it. It's actually a good thing to have nice thin paper. I'm just going to trim now around this edge. Okay. Okay, so that's coming along. Just trim these other edges while I'm here. cute those round bits there. Okay, flip it again. Let's continue. The reason why we have to do the whole back is because it will all be visible, right? So we want to make sure it's yeah, it's glued down. We want to make sure it's fully covered. And then just look at the variety of scraps that I have here. I got more of this, so I can put a nice big piece of that down. It's beautiful. Let's just even that out again. I'm only going up to the line back here. I'm doing the same thing I did on the front because I want to maintain that fun name tag part. I'm going to do a little more jelly print paper. Trim some of the edge off. And again, like, it uses that nice text, right? So we'll have a bit of a bookishness to this collage, which is great. I need to change my glue paper. It's getting a little sticky. Okay, and then we just need one more little sort of strip there. I think we could use probably some of this green. That would be nice. Okay. Perfect. All right, so that's all covered now. That's gonna fold forward, so let's just fold it and then hit it with the bone folder to give it a nice crease. And then I'm gonna come at it here on the edge because that one little bit still needs a little trim. There we go. Okay, so that's good, that's good. So now what I'm gonna do is the same thing I did with the two little pieces. I'm going to ink around with Vintage Photo, a little heavily. On the top of the folder at least, or anywhere where there's white, I'm just going to kind of heavily. Oh, see, there's a little bit that needs a little glue. Not uncommon. Just come in with your glue again. And that again is why I'll be stitching around this, or if I wasn't, I'd come in with art glitter glue and really make sure that was super glued down. Although usually, to be honest, it's just a matter of like needing a little more glue stick, but I take these things as signs that it needs to be really, really glued, just in case it's going to be a difficult spot, like a weak point. So I'm going to come over here and I'll do the same thing on the front. But I don't need to do down here because this is going to come up. So then just flip to the side again. And then we get a little heavier up here because it's just plain folder. There we go. So now that is done. So now we can start to put this whole thing together, right? Okay, so I am going to use art glitter glue here to just glue down the two sides, 1 and 2. Flip that up. Okay. Now, if you wanted stitching across the top here, if you're stitching, you can stitch around this whole thing first, but I don't. I'm totally fine with that. Now, I am going to go stitch both of these. Alrighty, so these are stitched now. We can go ahead and glue them down. So I'm going to put the art glitter glue here. Now, when I put art glitter glue on, I try not to go on top of my stitching because it allows the papers to adhere better when you don't. So then just come down here and you see it's about 1/4 inch, right, between, and you see how that little bit of map we used is covering that surface in between the two pockets here. Okay. I'm just going to give that a nice press. And then we come up here and we do the same thing with the belly band. And you line the belly band up right on the line there underneath where it says name. Oops. Okay. We'll just hold it for a moment because this is, you know, a little thicker. It's a few layers of paper. Okay. So now I'm going to go to the sewing machine and I'm going to stitch all the way around here, and then toward the top I'm going to be careful because I don't want to stitch over that name section. So now let's talk about pocket functionality and loading and why I designed this way. So in the front here, obviously you have the option to put some tall things in, just keeping in mind though that they don't have a lot of support. So more than likely I would keep them smaller in the front, and the front is where I would also want to put my kind of eye-popping thing. Now in this center pocket here, did I glue the bottom? No, I need to. So yeah, you want to glue the bottom because you want this to be a separate pocket. What was I thinking? Hold on. There we go. There, now that's glued down. So you want this to be a separate pocket, and the reason why is because you want the things that you put in here to stop, you know, at this point, right? Then if you're putting taller things in, you slip them behind the belly band here like that, so that you can have, you know, like the most length there, but there's still something to hold it in. It's not just going to be sitting up here flipping out, right? But now if you're using this for smaller pieces entirely, glue this too, just like you saw me glue this one, and then you just have 3, you know, pockets, right? So now the back will stay the back, nothing going on there. As I said, you could pop an eyelet up here if you wanted to be able to hang it or something, or clip it on something. If you're doing lap books, you don't even have to decorate the back. You could actually just glue this in on the back of a lap book. Clearly you can make these smaller, and you could put them in journals. You could poke holes here, you know, pop holes with a hole punch so that they just become a thing. Pockets on the back as well. Lots of options, but it's just about like ephemera holding, right? The other thing is, if you didn't want to glue that, there's no reason I can't stitch across the bottom too. No reason at all. Okay, so now let's think about, you know, how did I load this other one? I'm going to go back to this one because loading these is kind of like thinking about it like a bit of like a collage, to be honest. So I started with this large envelope that has this embossed piece inside it. Now I don't know if you were here for when I made this. This envelope has a real oak leaf inside with oil paint, and we embossed it and did some fun things. So it's a nice big kind of, you know, starter piece for this whole situation. So it can go right in the back. What am I doing? Oh, that's why. Sorry, I need to flip this upside down so I can actually hold it. It's hard to do some of this stuff on camera, but it's okay. So I open up the pocket, and then this loads in here. It's being way more difficult this time because I'm filming. There we go. Okay, and then I just kind of want to center it, right? Like, so it looks nicely centered there. Then I have this large postcard vintage book page journal card, and that can go in there too. And then I sort of thought maybe another large piece, like this big waxed piece of ephemera would be nice in there. I've got this large tag. I think I had put that up here before though, but I don't know. We're going to do things differently this time because this is a reload, not a initial, you know, the initial load. So I've got 4 in there. And then maybe this tall one here too. So 5 in the back, okay? And that kind of looks nice. Like you've got a range of things going on. You got some fabric, So then we'll come up here to the next pocket. Now keep in mind, all these things, they do all sit in this middle pocket. But you'll also notice it's really not a problem. Like, you'll see how they're being loaded. So we'll put an envelope in here too. Then, what else? Did I put this one? I think I put this in here too. Or no, I put that in the bottom because it has lots of space. But I'll show you why that's fine. So that can go there. Then I think I also put these cats in here, right? I wanted to have a kitty cat head kind of poking out. Then this tag also could go in here. So see, this is how this looks. Now we'll put this tall piece in here. We'll let the kitty cat's head still show. A seed packet here. Just a pretty vintage card piece. A little tag. Another little tag, and you can kind of, this one has a little booklet attached, right? You can kind of like position them as you'd like them to kind of be visible, right? Then my smaller things are going to come up front, and then I thought it'd be nice to have kind of a couple little like iconic things, like a little playing card, and then this little yearbook bit. And then I take my fancy button card and I put it right up front. So now we've reloaded that piece, and there's the back. And yeah, that's not huge. So for shipping, it'll be good. So what I'm also planning to do, just FYI, these are going to go in my shop. The other one that I'm going to load as well after I get it loaded. I'm probably going to do flip through videos for them that I'll put on Etsy as well, because that will be easier than like individually photographing every single piece of the ephemera. So then I'm going to use this other piece here, I think, possibly to do the same thing, but slightly different content. So I'm going to make it in the same way maybe, and then I'm actually going to create these ones full of like junk journaler supplies. So things like playing cards, tickets, you know, vintage documents, postcards, etc. So they're going to be like for makers, or these could be for either makers or, you know, art collector type people, or people who want to send out fun mail to their friends, you know, junk journalers, whatever. This will be for like junk journal creators and be that kind of a supply. Okay, so I'm going to have some fun stuffing this one. I will do flip through videos for these. And so you'll start to see a few of these depending on if folks like them in my shop. I haven't offered them before, but I wanted to try and see if they were something that y'all might like. So thank you for joining me for this tutorial, and you'll see more of this shortly. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this content, if you like different kinds of tutorials and things. That's what I do here. So I will talk to you all again very soon. Bye for now.